it's Gerriann with scrapandstampcreations.blogspot.com, and this evening we are going to use the Canvas Corp Coffee Stamps on Craft paper, as well as some celebrated paper sacks at 4 5/8 by 2 7/8 by 8 5/8. And we're going to make a cute little paper bag book with chipboard covers, and I think I'm going to put my favorite coffee recipes or coffee related recipes and things like that in it. I have some stamps and things, so we'll definitely work on some technique-y stuff tonight as well. So we'll try and use some smooch. We'll use a variety of different inks. I do have, here is the link here. I'm going to talk about a variety of different inks, and paperwishes.com/stamping101 has a nice little quick reference chart that talks about the qualities of ink, if it's permanent, and then there are really 4 different kinds of ink. One is a dye ink, which may or may not be permanent. One is pigment ink. One is the fluid chalk ink pads, and then the solvent inks like StazOn or the Brand New Surface from ClearSnap. So we're going to talk about a variety of those. We're going to use a variety within our book tonight, and I've given you the link in the chat in order to go get the chart, and that just for your reference, it talks about being able to do things with like alcohol pens or the Copics or any of that kind of stuff, and when to do and what to use and that kind of stuff. So this is a really nice chart, and again, it came from paperwishes.com/stamping101. They had some other good charts and information there that I keep going back to reference as I'm looking at teaching people some of the newer stuff. Yes, you did, Joy. It was a ton of fun. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to do is we are going to decide how many pages our book is going to be. And I'm going to use the Stack the Deck binding just because it's the easiest for me to do and remember. So I need either 4 pages or 6 pages. And I think I'm going to do 6. Because that will leave me with 2, 4, that'll leave me with 6 bags for another one. Yeah. Alright. And let's see. So that we can get the most out of our paper, let's go ahead and cut each of our bags off at the top at 6 inches from the bottom. So I need to find my paper trimmer because I sent my husband off on an adventure with it. And he never brought it back, which means it's over here. Alright, so we're going to cut each of these bags off at 6 inches. We'll try this again. Here's a different link. See if this will work. That should be the direct link to the chart. Okay? So we're going to cut each of our 6 bags down to 6 inches. And we're going to hold on to these little pieces too. We might put those in there somehow. So we're putting the folded bag part down here at the end, and we're cutting them at 6 inches. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we're going to save these little pieces. I don't know what we're going to use them for yet. All right. So, I want to have pockets together and pages together. So when the pockets open up, you'll have 2 pockets here. And then we can also do the flippy outy thing, so we can put the flippies on. And that, so we'd have pockets, and then the pages that didn't have the pockets would have the flippy parts to them. So I think I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and make some flippy pieces. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that with this cardstock because I really do like it. So we know that our pieces need to be at least 6 inches tall. And if we want them to come across, then we're going to do, I'm going to do 5 inches and give a 1/2 inch to go inside, I think. Oh yeah. So we're going to do 6 inches and 5-inch pieces. And I have no idea. It may just be the internet connection because mine does that quite often. Depends on whose show. And so we're going to need 6 of those. So each of these cute hot chocolate coffee pages is going to give us 4, and we need 6. So we're cutting these at 6 inches by 5 inches. So this is 6 inches, and now we're cutting at 5. And that is 4 of those. We're going to save those little pieces there because they're cute. And then we're going to do 1/2 enough. Now, I have new laptop or computer on my agenda for taxes, so that will be helpful. And that. My husband got a really cool lathe. My in-laws were in town this weekend, and he got the coolest lathe that spins wood to like make pins and baseball bats and things like that. So we might get some cool dowels, girls. Some cool dowels. Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, Lucinda. Alright, so we're going to take our scoring board here. I love this paper. It is very cute. Alright, and so, since we're looking at our book, we're going to do, our first flap is going to come this way. So we need our 1/2 inch on this side here. So we're going to score this one at 4.5. And that's going to go on our first page. And of course we're going to have to like be creative. So this one's going to go here. And then our next 2 pages is yeah. So we're going to need one that's going to be scored at a 1/2 inch. And because this paper is directional, you need to pay attention to that. And so this one's going to be a 1/2 inch. That's going to fit on this side. And then we need another one on the opposite side, so that those will open together. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea where that template went. It's around, I'm sure. I haven't seen it in a while. And I think I gave all my boxes away, but I can't remember what I did with it. Alright, with directional paper like this, you're going to need 3 that are scored at the 4.5 inch mark and 3 that are scored at the 1/2 inch mark. So that the way that I'm doing my book, oh wait, we'd need one more. 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. Except for I can't remember when we did the box, so I don't know where to go looking for the template, and if I ever posted it on my website, or was it just on Facebook, or what. I don't know what it did with it. So this one's gonna go this way, this one's gonna go that way. Those 2, and this one's a 1/2 inch. Oh my gosh, no thank you. No! Be nice. I will find that tampon box for you. I made a box to put cute cards in, and I bought a box, and the box came from my inspiration for the box was a flip top box from a package of tampons, and so the box had a flip lid, and it was really cool. So I took the box apart, measured everything out and the whole bit, and oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so everybody was so excited about the box, and then I told them where the inspiration came from, and they were all like totally 7th graders again. Ew, don't tell me where it came from. It was funny. It was hilarious. Alright, we decided not to use, I'm going to need the chipboard, but we decided not to use the envelopes. Now I need my cool scissors. Oh yeah, those cute slivers. Alright, so on the bottom pieces of this, we're going to cut at a really sharp angle. And at the tops, we're just cutting a little bit of an angle. And the reason we're cutting this really sharp angle is if you look inside your bag, you have like a huge sharp angle. Yeah. Well, I'll have to go back and find that box, or at least something like it. We'll have to do it again. Alright. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach these puppies in here, like so. Yep, they were. They were fun. So I'm going to grab my score tape. And I'm putting score tape on both sides so it'll seal that. I'm moving my ink reference sheet. Alright, guys. I'm living dangerously and taking the score tape off both sides. So my wonderful niece, we did coronation last night, and she won a $500 scholarship for the girl who bloomed the most through the process, meaning she learned a ton of things, and that, and she is a spring free girl, which is really good, which means we can come visit people, which I think would be fun. She wants to go on a trip, and I think it would be fun. Alright, so there is our first paper bag. So we have our first flap. I think I'm going to do my favorite coffees and that, and I want to do like the Polaroid frames, and I think we'll do the picture of the coffee there or whatever. We'll stamp it. We'll do some fun little things because I have a gigantic coffee cup stamp. Alright, so these are going to go together. So again, the bottom piece we need to do at a very severe angle. And, okay, and not so severe at the top. And I find that if I go through and put everything on first, then at least I feel like I've got everything in the right direction. Especially with directional paper. And then we can go back and decorate and all kinds of stuff. That went a little close. So we'll just pull that out a little so it flips nicer. We'll just bone fold it. A real nice crease. Okay? So this, now we've got 2 pocket pages. Then we have this one. Gonna do very severe on the bottom, a little bit at the top. Okay. And you can do this one-sided if you want. And then open this up and pull the other side if you need to. Okay? So So now we have these two that go together. We have two pockets, so this one goes over here. And again, the bottom needs to be really severe, and the top not so much. You guys are super quiet. All right. Now I picked this paper up at Joann's when it was on sale for $4 for $1. Okay. All right. 4 for $1. Yep. And it's really nice, heavy, thick. Heavy cardstock. Yeah. $1. Usually I'm good for $1 a sheet, but sometimes you can find a really good deal if you look. And I'm one that there are certain feels of paper that I really, really like. Craft is one of them. I like the feel of craft paper. I like the weight of craft paper. And I tend to know what's where. And this one is from Canvas Corp. And so I picked it up the last time I saw it. I'm like, I love it. I'll use it for something. And so I picked it up when it was on sale. Now, would I buy it for $1 a piece? Probably. But it's like 70 cents a sheet. Oh, wow. That's a little pricey. All right. And then again, we need to do pretty severe on the bottom, not so severe on the top. Oh. Oh, good. Yeah, $2 a sheet. It better be glittered and flocked. New Zealand, right? Sophie, you're in New Zealand. Because I mailed you a prize. Yeah. It must have been 4 for $1 or 5 for $1, something. It was something cheap. Cheap enough that I have multiple pages of this cardstock. And another one that's really cute too. Yep. But I sent her a prize. I'm so excited. It'll probably take forever to get there. But it was mailed on Friday with all the other prizes. Alright. So now we have our outer parts. So now we can kind of think about what we want to do for these pages. I don't know. Probably. put the dark piece here because I think I want to slip the recipes or whatever cards, little things there. Oh, well, it's a little itty bitty flat thing. It didn't cost me, well, it didn't cost me, well, it was about normal for shipping, I guess. It came first class. I know that. Alright. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take, and we're going to add our coffee paper across the strip here. So, our pieces will roughly be, oh, 4 5/8 by 2 and I'm going to say 2 1/2. So again, because my paper is directional, I want to make sure to do the 2 1/2 cut first. And since I have 6 envelopes, I'm going to need 6 of these pieces. And what did we decide? 4 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We got some other little cute pieces. We're going to make some fun things. And we just need 2 more of these. So we're going to cut again at 2 1/2. Four 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay. Well, I live in Washington, so everything went to California really close. So yeah, I just come from the other side of the state. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now, I'll probably end up distressing the edges of the paper. So before I put these down, let's look at our trusty little sheet here, and we'll try a couple of different things. So a dye ink pad would be like my close to my heart ink. And so on that, I'm going to grab my chocolate ink pad from Close to My Heart, and this will be permanent. It's water-based. It's a water-based dye ink, and it will actually bleed if you try and use an alcohol marker such as a Copic or that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do direct to paper. That's what this technique is called, when you take your ink pad and just run your paper right to the ink. Okay? So, this is, and dye ink will go on darker and lighten as it dries. So there's some dye ink. I'm doing a mini and kind of an ink tutorial. So let's write dye ink on the back of that. This is dye ink. Okay? A pigment pad is like color box ink is a pigment. Let me see what else I got for a pigment, because I know I have something of everything. And I'm thinking I have brown of everything as well. Let's see. This is a chalk ink. Let's look. I'm looking for my daddy. Oh, here we go. This is a pigment ink. It's Colorbox pigment ink from Colorbox, and basically it is permanent when it's heat set. It can go on uncoated paper nicely. If you use it on glossy paper, it will not dry. It really does not dry. You can use it on vellum. You can also use it for heat embossing. So a difference between, say, a water-based dye ink and the pigment ink is it is harder to use a water-based dye ink or just a dye ink to emboss with, because it dries very quickly on your paper. Like, see, this is dry and you can see the colors lightening and everything. With this one, with the pigment ink, it stays wet, so it'll catch your embossing powder. You can use the dye ink with watercolors if it says permanent on it. And there's a couple of different brands that are dye ink, such as the Memento. The Memento is a fade-resistant dye ink, and you can use this with watercolors. Okay, so any of the Memento ink, which is dye ink. You can use this also with watercolors. However, you really need to make sure it's good and dry. You cannot really do a good job using dye ink on fabric or glass or wood. The Memento ink, it says fade resistant, and that's just a unique property, but usually the dye inks will fade a bit. They dry super quick, and you can use them on clear acrylic, or you can't. The clear acrylic sheets, you cannot really use the dye ink or the pigment ink. It just does not dry. Okay, so you can use the Colorbox Mini pigment ink when it's dry with your Copics and things like that. And I'm just right now just using the edge. This is a black. It stays a little wetter. I could dip this in embossing powder even after I went in and inked everything, and it would hold some color. You can kind of see it leaves an edge. If I press it down here on my paper, you're going to see it come up, where this one, you don't see it. It just, after you do it, it dries pretty quickly. Unless you have a super juicy pad. Although that one worked pretty well. Might be the combination of the paper as well. Okay, dye ink, pigment ink. And then there's the chalk inks, which are by Colorbox. I think that, I know Prima has some, that kind of stuff. And so these are pretty dry. These you cannot use on, you can't emboss with them. Like, you can't stamp and emboss, which we'll do with the other two. I'll show you that. This one just dries way too fast, but it also has a really nice opaque piece to it. I didn't write pigment on the back of this one. and this is chalk ink. Okay, the chalk ink, according to our little chart here, as you guys are reading along, and let's see, here's the chart again for those of you playing along. The chalk ink is permanent when it's heat set. It can be used on uncoated paper. You can use it on glossy paper and vellum if you heat set. It really is not good for heat embossing. You cannot use it with your alcohol pens, such as your Copics and things, because it'll bleed. You can use it with your watercolors. You can put it on glass and wood and fabric. It is fade resistant. It is fade resistant when it's heat set. It dries super quick. And if you're going to use it on an acrylic sheet, you need to heat set it. It's highly recommended that that happens. And then the last kind of ink is your solvent ink. And that truly is your StazOn or your surface. And I don't have any blacks. I don't have a black surface. But and the other thing is you'll find an ink that you guys like, and it'll be the one that you'll choose to use. The other cool thing is that if you buy these little itty bitty ink pads, they're pretty inexpensive. And I think that this will probably be the next thing Tony and I put together as a kit, is some of the basics of a chalk ink set and the Colorbox mini pigment inks. And basically the cool part about them is that you can get the re-inkers and reuse these and reuse these and reuse these. They are so cute. They're so little. They take up less space. You can ink an entire stamp with them. They're great for traveling. And so when you've got this huge stamp set, which is great, I have a whole pad full of them. But if I'm going on a crop, it makes me pick and choose as to what I'm choosing to take with me. Where if I have these, I have them all in one drawer. So here's my drawer of chalk ink. And as you can see, I can take twice as many colors as I could of these ones. Okay? So hopefully you guys can kind of see that. Any questions? The lag is horrible. I love my Close to My Heart ink. I really, really do. Really do. But I like the other stuff too. When I'm going on crops, I really like this size. Close to My Heart came out with some pigment ink that is in the little mini 1x1s, and that I've used them. These are pigment based. They work great. I always find that I'm losing a lid for them though. And maybe because I had already fallen in love with the little itty bitty ones, I choose not to use. I don't use those as much because I have all the other colors of other things. So, different uses. Alright, so we're ready to move on to our solvent ink, such as StazOn and the Surface from Colorbox. With a solvent ink, you're always going to have a plastic pad, so don't throw this away because it keeps your ink in the pad. And then this ink stays wet. It is permanent, completely permanent. It will dry out if you leave it open, just so you know. You can use it on glossy paper, just don't move your stamp. It's not really recommended for heat embossing. However, you can use it though on vellum. It says no. StazOn is not something that you would want to use with your alcohol inks because it will bleed. You can use it with watercolors. You can use this on glass, wood, fabric. It is fade resistant. It dries super quick. and you can use it on clear acrylic sheets. It will set there when you heat set it. So this is the solvent ink, such as stays on. Okay, so we've got those all kind of done, and I'm going to go ahead and use, I'm going to add, since I've got a variety of black, I'm going to put blue, or the brown, on the other two of these. All right. So we now have all of our pieces inked together. And we can go ahead and look at our book. So we're going to start with 2 pieces of brown. And I'm going to go ahead and use, again, my score tape here. And I'm going to, it looks like I cut these just a touch on the short side. So I'm going to kind of line them up across the bottom. And I think we'll put an edge on these, or we might run it through a punch. Some decorative edge scissors or something. Who knows? We'll come up with something. We might put a sticker up there. So all I'm doing now is just adding these here. So those are my 2 pigment, or no, those were my dye ink. So this is a pigment ink that I'm sticking on this side. And I want to make sure my words are up. And again, I'm going to leave a little bit of edge there. And this is the solvent ink one. So if you use pigment ink, you need to be really careful that you are not laying your pieces across a nice white frame or anything when you're doing your projects, or you will end up with smearing. It'll smear out onto things. Shannon! How are you, girlfriend? Oh, I needed this one to be black. So we're just going to go right over that and make that black with, again, this pigment ink. Alright. Definitely. I'm showing I'm still moving. So you might have to refresh, Aunt Maggie. Well, I'm glad you looked this up. Okay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to grab some craft cardstock and we're going to stamp some pieces up in the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some fun things with our pieces. me grab a piece of craft. A piece or two of craft. Here's a piece or two of craft. All of the things, I have a stamp that says, "Welcome to my reality and not another learning experience." Those might be fun to put in there. And now I'm looking for my coffee stamps from Close to My Heart, which I know I have, because they're my favorites. They're not in that box. Or that one. Okay, that will be awesome. He will be happy. Thank you. Here's one called Coffee Stain. Here's one called Coffee Shop. And I'm sure I have one that's got a little cup and saucer in it, but I don't think I'm going to use that one. I don't think I... And I have a few more, hold on. You'll love it. We're going to play with a variety of different stamps. Oh, hi, Tony. I do have a few coffee stamps. Let's see. Just a couple. I'm just digging them out really quick, guys. I've got some cute ones. I don't know that we'll use them all, but we're definitely going to play with some of them. All right. Oh, Ustream? You're on Ustream, Tony. All right. So, this little stamp says, "You leave an impression on me." These are retired Close to My Heart stamps. I know that they're retired. They're hard to find. They're my favorite. I don't know if I'm going to use those two or not. We have our big coffee cup that we can cut out as tags. I love this guy. He'll make a cute tag and we can emboss and put little colors and stuff. So I'm thinking we might do some of the smaller cups, because I have quite a few of those. We've got different kinds of cups. And that. And then this one is from Amuse, this little latte cup. And this one is from Lockhart. So let's see. Let's get, actually I need to know how many pieces I'm going to have to do. So we're going to do 3.5 by 4.5. Now that's going to fit nice in there. So 3.5 by 4.5, that's going to give us 4 per sheet, and I need 6. So we're going to do 2 sheets here, guys, because I'm using 8.5 by 11 paper. Okay. All right. So I want to pick a few. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our own designer paper. Okay, this is made by TPC Studio. I will tell you that this is called Coffee Cafe Clear Stamps ST93452. And honestly, they're the stamps that I don't like the feel of. Oh, look, we got coffee beans. And that's probably why I have these still, because I am not someone who, if I don't like the way the stamps feel, they don't stay. So now I'm just kind of collaging up these stamps. And I am literally putting things upside down. Yeah, I'm sure. Because really, it's not like something I would have bought unless, because it's cute, but I don't like the feel. I mean, even these Hero Art stamps are much, much better. Feeling-wise, texture-wise, I like them better. Well, it's always a first time, Martha. Always a first time. See, this has got a huge note on it. Just cut it away. It's way too big. Didn't fit in my little thing there too well. Alright. And put that big bean in there. Alright. Since we have a lot going on this block, I think what we'll do is we will stamp we're going to kind of random stamp this one around, and then we'll go back and fill in with some of the other stamps that we have with the coffee cups and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and yeah, and ink my piece up. And I didn't get a good impression there, which means I need a foam mat. Hold on, let me grab something. With clear stamps, if you don't get a good impression, get a piece of fun foam. A really cheap piece of fun foam. Flip your paper over and start again. And I'm still not getting a whole great piece, but you know what? We're just gonna go with it, because I can always cover that up, cut it off, whatever. Okay. And again, this is my pigment ink. So it is staying wetter. I can see the glossy pieces to it. Yeah, well, I was afraid those stamps would fall off. And honestly, I've used this stamp before, so I don't get it. I only do that on brand new sets. Which tells you the quality of that stamp. Okay? And then you go back to the ink that you really like. Alright. And then the other thing is some of the stamps like different kinds of ink. And you just have to kind of play around. Because these stamps really like the VersaFine ink. And tend to do a little better with it. this little piece right here. We're going to put right there. And this one right here. And that's going to give me the 4 that are going to look at each other. So there's 1, there's 4. And now what we're going to do is I need black on my second piece. I'm going to do this one more on a diagonal. And I may have to stand up to do this one because really it's not. The block is just a little on the big side. There we go. Just a little extra pressure. All that puppy needed. Maybe a little extra workspace too. And we're going to add the brown in there. Yep, and there goes my bean. Alright. Very cheap way to get paper. Yep. And if you have stamps in your stash, I have some geometric ones that are really old, close to my heart stamps that I absolutely love because they are just geometric shapes. I can make just about anything with them and have something look very, very, very similar to something that's on the market. Depending on kind of what I'm working on. So this is called random stamping, you guys. And what I did was I filled the block up with multiple stamps, and I've created my own paper by using the ink. Okay, so now I'm just kind of cleaning off my ink, off my stamps. And I do have, I have a baby wipe that I'm using right now, which works really well. The other things that work are, of course, the stamp cleaner. You can do all kinds of things with that. Okay, so I'll put those away later. Now I want to take my ring, this Humongo coffee ring, and coffee splotches, and I'm going to, yep, I do want that block, don't I? Well, one reason to have multiple blocks in a variety of sizes and I'm going to use my chocolate ink pad. I'm just adding some splotches and things and coffee circles on my paper. This one as well. And I'm going to go in with a smaller pad or smaller stamp and really add a few other pieces, because this has got a blotchy heart, and then once we cut it apart we can also distress things a bit. Okay. Has a cute little heart. Okay. This is an old retired close to my heart set. You'd probably only find it on eBay at this point in time. It is called Coffee Stain. And the other one that I'm using is going to be Coffee Shop, and I'm going to use that in a minute with the words coffee latte and espresso. Actually, I may just use the little, I think I might just use this one. Some steam. I just lost something on my desk. So we're just going to hit up these cups that have a little bit of steam. I'm going to go in and add this big steam piece to it. And we're just inking up our paper, making our own custom paper that goes with but does not, Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? Alright guys, so there is that. So here are our pieces of paper. Yes. There are some really cute stamp sets coming out in February. Yep, I will show you. Now I'm cleaning these stamps because I will end up sitting something on it that I will not want to be icky. Okay, and this again was done with the dye-based ink, so if I wet this, I can move this ink around on this paper. Okay. So here is this one, where we kind of went on the diagonal and then kind of filled it in. And this one we did more on a square. And now I'm really going to make you all crazy because I'm going to add a lot of this brown. Again, this is the direct-to-paper technique. And all I'm doing is adding some distressing there. So see? So we cut at 3 3/4 by 4 1/2 for our pieces. There's 2. There's 4. Oh, good. All right. So now we have these pieces to play with as well. And these would be really great for a background for a card and things. Or embellishments as we get closer. Okay. Now, since I ran over the edges, you can see that some of the edges are finished and the other ones that I cut are not. So now all I'm going to do again is run this around the edges just to finish up those edges. And my paper is kind of wet at this point. The ink is wet, but it will dry very quickly. And amazingly enough, it started like this. So So this is what this paper ended up looking like when we were done. Yeah, I'm scooting the black around the edges just to make it kind of look like a burnt look. So as you guys can see, you've got the brown comes all the way in, and then if you leave just the black on the edges, it really is going to pop everything off the page really well for you. And we're going to play with ink again next week, where we're kind of going to work with the inks a little bit. We're going to do a variety of things. Tonight we're really going to do just direct to paper kind of stuff, stamping. So I'm showing you how to make background paper tonight with your stamps and your inks. So you don't have to, you can just buy the cardstock. Plain color cardstock, and you can make it look whatever you want to. It's going to take a little while to do, and then remember, whatever you're making, you're going to cut up. Unless you're doing a whole background sheet of something, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to cut it up. So, you know, fill it up and make it full so that you can kind of really see where things look. Alright, what do I want? I want these 2 little stamps. And I really want to go through and add, yeah, I will in just a second. I want to add a couple of ink spots that are a little more black. You'd think that since I can do this and mess up a ton of paper while playing with this kind of stuff, that I would have no problem with mixed media kind of stuff at all. And yet, I do. I have significant issues. Yep, give me a minute and I'll hold it up again. So this is kind of what we've got. And of course, it started out like this. I was thinking I was going to put this in here like so, and then we'll put tags in, okay? So now that I have put ink all over, closer, hold on, let me move the camera for you. That's what the paper started out looking like. Better? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start attaching these in. Now, you might want to hit them with your heat gun because they are a little damp. That's a lot of ink on them as well. I'm going to use my sticky strip. Now that I've buried my scissors, you just gotta start playing. Just layer it all up. We're gonna make some cute coffee tags. I don't have a die, but I have a stamp that we can fussy cut. That's what we're doing next, Martha. You so are getting ahead of me. All right. All right. It's a big fussy cutting. It's not like itty bitty fussy cutting. Alright, so there are pieces in our book. Now we're going to move our sheet out, and I need 12 because I want 2 coffee cups for each page to go in the pockets. And I'm going to use my favorite ink, which is VersaFine ink, and it's a fast drying oil-based pigment ink for uncoated papers. Okay, and this is why I have issues with rubber stamps, because I have the end of my stamp there. Two. 4, 5, 6. I'm going to grab one more piece of paper here. But amazingly, none of the ones in the set. Good. One. It's going to be a back, because that piece, wherever that is in the corner, it just is not working right. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Ugh. All right. Now what I'm going to do so that we can do a pull out is stamp. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to add this cute little adding a little more steam to our cups. These are all steamy. I'm going to use the Bo Bunny paper that I had last week when I made the layout or the cards and sent you guys some paper. I'm going to stamp some sleeves on those. So that all of our little pieces get some sleeves. We'll have to fussy cut those out. Yeah, it just pops it out just a little more. And now I'm going to take the Bo Bunny pad, which is Powder Mountain Collection. And I am going to try not to get lost of everything. I'm going to grab the pieces that already had been cut, and I'm going to stamp out again just the sleeve part, this part here of our big wood stamp on paper. We're just going to fussy cut that piece. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that one's going to be party. 5. Oh, nope, that one can't work. I think I ruined both of these, actually. I did. Ah, you can't really tell. Okay. How about this one? Yep, that one you can definitely see. Let's see if we can get one more out of this. Yeah, there we go. So I have blog posts ready to go, so I'm going to have blogs for quite a while, or posts on my blog, with some of the things I saw and did and brought home from CHA, which was a lot different than some of the other people did. I just had to get through Lilac Weekend, and which was this last weekend, and now I have all kinds of time to be able to do some of the other things that I needed to do. So be on the lookout for my blog. There'll be some new posts. I'm going to have to bring some blue and gray into our book here. Yeah, I am. But you know, the scholarship that one of the girls did a really great job with everything, and she ended up taking the majority of the scholarships with her. And she ended up being queen, which was, you know, just a blessing. She's a really, really, really sweet girl, and which was really awesome. Nicole picked all of the girls that she was asked in the interview with who should be on court with her, she picked all of them who ended up being on the court. So, you know, she felt good about that. That she, you know, had thought enough of them and that the judges made a good choice. So, as much as she, you know, disappointed, I'm disappointed. But, you know, overall, it was a great experience for her, for us, for everybody. And, you know, it was just really, really awesome. Really awesome. Alright, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. $10, $11, $12. Yeah. 10, 11, 12. Yes, every girl had a flower table. Every one of them. And it was full. Everybody's was full. You can't sit at my dining room table and eat until we find a place for all the flowers. And she did so well with everything that she was keeping her one thing out, and the whole bit. And she just, you know, she took flowers. She sent some home with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. She took some to her counselor today and said, you know, I'm sharing these with everybody because they're just, you know, they're going to die at my house, so might as well share the joy with those people who made me happy. My friend Suzanne sent me a bouquet of flowers on my birthday, so I got those on Saturday, and that was just, they were really pretty, but we are overwhelmed with flowers. And it sure smells like florist in here. We could open our own greenhouse. At least for another 3 days. But, you know, everything was so pretty. Alright. No problem, Sophie. Just let me know when you get your goodie. And have a good time. And actually, it's now 8 o'clock and I'm hearing my son upstairs, and he has been home today and is feeling kind of icky. So I'm going to finish fussy cutting these out, say hi to him, and I will probably be done for the evening. And maybe we'll just wait and play some more with this next week, since we're going to do ink and stuff. We can do some embossing and things next week. Alright? I'm hoping to get some of the Lindy Stamp Gang embossing powders and some magicals and stuff. So maybe I can get those for next week. Alright? The kitties love the flowers, Martha. Absolutely adore the flowers. So we're going to make these as our little tags for the book. And I'm not going to sit here and make you guys watch me fussy cut each and every one of them, but I will show you what they're going to look like. Because they're kind of cool. Did he? Did? And I'm thinking the cruddies are coming at my house, guys. Both my boys aren't feeling very good. Fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. Take some pictures, because I've got some boy camping stuff coming up, and we'll do some layouts. Alright, so here's this, and we're going to go ahead and add here. I'm going to use my scrapbook adhesives. This would be a good place for a glue stick. And then the other thing that I'm going to use is my white Faber-Castell Pip pen. And I'm going to add a little bit of steam in my coffee. Snow? When you live in South Carolina, there's no such thing as snow there. What I really want is my glitter pen. I wonder how this one would work. Oh, we're going to use this one because this one's really cool. This is the white. It's 1122-101. It is a Pip Pastel medium pastel pencil. And look at this. Look at how nice that looks. Good night. Yeah. Well, and I like it even more with the pen pastel. The Pip Pastel. Alright. So, it looks really cool both ways. We'll cut some more of these guys out. Honey, did Harrison just go to bed? Did he get a pill? Okay. Alright, ladies. I've got to go put my kid to bed. Yeah. I'm going to put sparkle on it. I think I'm going to add some glitter or something. We'll figure out. I'll play with my little cups here. You like the first one. Okay. It looks a little messy to me. But I'm sitting right here on top of it. Alright guys, so I've kind of started out on my pieces. We're working on our coffee book. So what I will finish up for our next class is I will get all the rest of our cups fussy cut out, all of the rest of our tags. I'll get all of its pieces together and put the white, either way, I'm not sure which one yet, on, and I may end up doing the white around the neck of the pieces as well. So anyway, we'll continue on working with this little mini and playing with the ink. Tony and I will get together because we'll get some inks together, like a mini ink pad kind of thing for you guys in some of the basic colors so you can try out some of the things. Hopefully we can get you a chalk ink, a pigment ink, and a kind of a set in black and maybe brown. you know, one or two to choose from. And you guys can try it out and see what you think. All right. You can also continue to purchase the Tombow, Gerriann's favorite Tombow adhesives from Tony for $15. Let me see. That's going until the 3rd of February. And for $15, which includes free shipping in the U.S., if you send an email to tonyfunwithpaper@gmail.com, Tony with an I, and you will get in your kit 1 Aqua Mono liquid glue, 1 Multi Mono liquid glue, 1 Tombow Mono glue stick 2-pack, 1 Tombow Mono glue pen, and 1 power adhesive tabs. Okay? So, you can give a call to her. These are the things that I used in the class last week, and I'll continue to use because they are my favorite things. Alright guys, you guys have an awesome night, and I will as well. And I'm sure that we will have a good fun time on Super Bowl Sunday, considering Martha's for the Broncos, and of course anybody else is for the Seahawks. So it'll be a fun game, especially if the Seahawks play like they did to get in the playoffs, because really that was a nail biter. Alright guys, you can find out my information on scrapandstampcreations.blogspot.com. Thanks a lot for joining me. Good night.